My name is Lasha, and today I will be teaching you vocabulary lesson. The level is upper intermediate, and the topic for today's lesson is education. First of all, before we start the lesson, let me explain the meaning of the word education, because I have seen a lot of my students making mistakes with this word. Maybe it is because of Turkish language. It can have different language in Turkish. And a lot of students have said, for example, they work and they go to get some specific course from work and they say, tomorrow I'm having education. This sentence is incorrect, guys, because we cannot use education like this. Education means learning something in a systematic way. So education cannot be short time, 1 day or 2 day course. It is more general, and usually we use education only for school or university, not for short time, 1 or 2 days course. So I will write two examples. One of them will be correct sentence and one of them will be incorrect. First, let me write something like this. Children receive very good education in Turkey. So this sentence can be totally correct because we are talking about general thing. It's not something specific, 1 or 2 days, and it is systematic education. But if I say sentence like this, my company is sending me tomorrow to a conference to receive education. The second sentence is incorrect, okay? So we don't use education for short-term, 1 or 2 day course. Education is more general and we need to use it for systematic learning. If something is for a long time and if it is systematic, not just short-time thing. If you have any questions, of course, you can write your comments on our YouTube and Facebook channels because I can check messages there. Also, we are live on our Twitter account and you can watch there as well. Now, when we talk about education, probably the first thing that comes into our mind is school. And in many countries, government has different models of schools, but I will explain to you two most popular and most common method. In most of the Western countries, school is divided into 3 parts. So school is divided into 3 parts, and we have elementary school, which is usually grades 1 to 4. Then we have middle school. It is usually grades 5 to 8. And we have high school. And high school is from 9th to 12th grade. Now, in some countries, we have 11 years of education. In other countries, we have 12 years of education. This is also one difference. Another difference is that in some countries we do not have separate schools. 7 years of education. In other countries, we have only one school. For example, in my country where I studied, elementary and middle school, high school, all of them were together. It was just called school, and we did not have separate levels at school. This model that I'm explaining to you is American model, and it is very popular in many countries, and it is used in a lot of places. Now, second way how they can separate the schools is primary school and secondary school. Now here we have a little bit misunderstanding because not a lot of people agree on this one. In some countries, primary education is from 1st to 4th grade. In some countries, it is 1st to 5th or 1st to 6th. So it is very different. In different countries, we have different models. Therefore, secondary education can be from 5th to 12th. It can be from 6th to 12th. Or it can be from 7th to 12th. Okay? I hope you understand these two different models of education. We also need to keep in our mind that in every country we have two types of schools based on who manages the school. We have public schools and we have private schools. Okay, so let me write it for you. Public school. Public school is like government school. You don't need to pay any money to go to this school. It is usually free. And another type is private school. Hi Shahin and Hussein. Private school is not owned by the government. It is owned by some people, or maybe one person, or maybe a group. And children need to pay money to go to private school. Let me give you an example like this. Education level is usually better in private schools rather than public schools. In most of the countries we can say this is true, so let me write like this. Education level in public schools is very low, and for private school I will give you an example that private schools cost a lot of money. I see a comment from Erhan on YouTube. In generally, the poor go to public school. Yeah, you are correct, but it changes from country to country. Sometimes people open private school not only for learning, but they open it just to make money. And these kind of private schools are not very good quality. Therefore, smart children sometimes prefer to go to public school, and maybe they have money, but they prefer to go to public school. Yes, Shahin, you are correct. Public school is free school for everyone, true. The next thing that I would like to teach you is territory education. Let me write it for you. So we already learned that in some models we have primary education and secondary education. Both of them, primary and secondary education, refer to schools, while territory education, it means education after school. It can be university level education, or it can be even some short courses. So all education that you take after school, we call territory education. Territory, it comes from Latin root and it means 3. So primary is number 1, secondary number 2, territory is number 3, okay? A lot of people in poor countries can't afford tertiary education. Like in some poor countries, let's imagine, for example, in Africa, probably children don't even go to school sometimes, but even if they go to school, when they finish school, they don't have enough money, or their family needs their support, so they can't go to universities and they don't get tertiary education. They get only primary or secondary education. Next thing that I would like to explain to you is vocational school. Vocational school is something which is not about general education, but it teaches you some profession, some job. For example, we can say vocational school about cooking school, or it can be about some kind of, let's say, working with wood. They teach you how to work with wood, how to be a chamber or pruner. Or maybe they teach you to work with metal. Sometimes in some countries, for example, in Turkey, I think you have this kind of vocational school also for computer specialists, not the engineers and designers, but someone who can just configure the computer systems and networking. This is vocational school. I see some comments. Shahin is asking about tertiary education. Is it university? Shahin, tertiary education is university and all other kind of training that you receive after school. All education after school is tertiary education, not only university. And Erhan is saying something, meslek okul. Yeah, I think it is correct. Vocational school is meslek okul. My example will be something like this. My father did not go to university. He just finished vocational school. My father is car mechanic, so this doesn't need university. This can be learned at vocational school. Please don't mix up vocational school with college. College has different meaning in different countries. For example, in Turkey, people use college to talk about private schools. But this is not original meaning of college. College is usually 2 years education. And it is after school. You go to college after you finish school. In the university, but it took 2 years, is vocational school in this country. Okay. It can be true. I'm not sure about Turkish education system regarding this topic. Now, college, it is 2 years education. And it is very popular in the USA, for example. A lot of people don't go to university, but they just go to college. It's easier to study at the college, and you get also diploma from the college. You can start working with this diploma, but you are not a high-level professional after you finish college. For example, you can become a nurse with a college education, but you cannot become a doctor. Okay, or maybe you can become, let's say, admin assistant, office manager with college education, or you can also become an accountant with college education. Some countries don't require accountants to finish university. Ahsen says it is same in Turkey. Okay. My sister graduated from college, and she is now a nurse. I hope you understand the meaning of the college. It does not mean what we learn in Turkey, the private school. Private school is private school. College is different. In other countries, there is also something called lycée, or lyceum. This is usually French system, and it's not popular in other countries. But okay, maybe we can also talk about it. So you might see this word as well. And also you might see gymnasium. They have little bit different meaning. These are not popular in many countries. They are popular in, for example, lyceum. This is very popular in France, but gymnasium, it is popular in Germany, and it is like a school. They don't say school in Germany, they say this, gymnasium. There are a lot of gymnasiums in Germany. Okay, we can say like this. And for lyceum, we can say that it is a French word, so it is very popular in France. Kids in France prefer to go to lyceum. There is not a big difference between gymnasium or school. It's just another word, and it is used mostly in Germany, but maybe when you read something, sometimes you see this word, so I wanted to explain to you. Now, what do we call a place where little kids go? Like 4 or 5-year-old kids, where do they go? I'm waiting for your answer. Probably you know the name of this place. Until 6 years old, so before elementary school, where do the kids go? What's the name of the place? Let's see if you have any idea. You can write as a comment. You can write as a comment in English. Because Turkish, I'm not sure what is the name of this place. We have one comment, junior school. It is used in some countries, and it is correct. And we have another name, kindergarten. This is also true, and it is correct name. So let me write it for you. Kindergarten. This is again not English word. I think it comes from German. And it is used everywhere. Nursery, it can also be used. Shahin, you are correct. Children go to kindergarten before elementary school. Kindergarten, it is used in every English-speaking country. As for junior school, it can have different meaning. For example, in England, junior school is same with elementary school. it doesn't mean before elementary school. Okay, so junior school, it can be same with elementary school in Britain. So I will write it here. Now somebody wrote preschool. It is very correct. Thank you, Sibel. And also we had comment nursery. Nursery, it has two meanings. It has same meaning with kindergarten. It is totally true. And also it has another meaning. Nursery is a place where you can leave your kids for some time. For example, you have work and you need to go to work for only 3 hours, and you can take your kids to nursery. So it doesn't mean like a school that children must go at 8 o'clock in the morning and finish at 6 o'clock. It can be like this, or it can be only like, let's imagine like a hotel for kids. It can be also called nursery. In some companies, there is a special thing for employees who have their children. They can bring their children to work at a nursery school. So while mother is working, for example, mother is engineer and she is working at the company, the same company in the building has nursery. So all employees who have children and cannot leave children at home bring their children and they stay in this nursery room while mothers and fathers are working. My company has a nursery for kids of the employees. Yeah, daycare center. Okay, we can also use this one. It is good. So daycare center, it is more like daily, and you can leave your kid whenever you want there. When I need to go to work, I leave my baby at a daycare center. Good. I like you guys today. You have a lot of good comments. Aydin, today is Children's Day in Turkey, correct? So happy Children's Day, everyone. And our topic is very symbolic. It's Children's Day and we are talking about children and the education. Now, next thing that I would like to teach you is about the university education. We have 3 different levels of university. Let me write it for you over here. University. And which levels do we have at the university? The first level of the university we call bachelor. Bachelor is 4 years education right after the university. Okay, this is number 1. After bachelor, we have another level. Some people want to continue their studies. And if they want to continue their studies, they go to second level. Second level is called master. It is 2 years education usually, but nowadays in some countries you can do masters only in 1 year. And last level of the university education we have is called PhD. Guys, do you know what is the long form for PhD? Sudanas, master degree is after you finish your bachelor's degree, after you finish your university, and you go and study 2 more years. Tutku, you are correct. Master degree is yüksek lisans, true. Guys, what is the meaning of PhD? Do you know the long form for PhD? Let's see your comments. If you have any idea what's the meaning of PhD, probably you have seen this word a lot of times. Okay, Utte's explanation is also correct. Sibel, very good job. PhD long form is a doctor of philosophy. Now this one does not have very specific time. You can do your PhD in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It changes, okay? So I will not write any years for it because it is very different in countries. Let's continue by learning some more words related to university. First of all, you need to understand that we finish university and we get something. We get a paper. And this paper says that you finished university. What do we call this paper? What do we call a paper which says that, for example, myself, Lasha Hualade, has graduated the university Ulte says PhD is usually in 4 years, but you can never finish in this time. So what do we call a paper that you receive after you finish university? I think it has same meaning in Turkish as well. We call it a diploma. Okay. Yeah, Dilek, you are correct. I have graduated from the university and got a diploma in business administration. So I finished my university, and after I finished university, I got my diploma in business administration. Now we need to also learn some education spheres. Do you know what is sphere, guys? It's like sector, but for education we don't say sector. We say usually the sphere. Or we can also say qualification. Qualification is what you learned at the university and what will be your job. My qualification is suitable for this job. I learned English language and literature, and I can be a teacher. I see a comment from Shahin. It means you can do that is certificate. Certificate has little bit different meaning. We don't use certificate for school or university. Certificate is used for some specific jobs. For example, you finish vocational school for nursery and you need to have nursery certificate. You cannot work only with diploma in some countries. So certificate is not given by university or school, okay? It's given by another place. Maybe sometimes the government gives the certificate for something. Or another meaning of certificate is when you finish some course. For example, when you go to Justenglish and you finish, intermediate level or maybe upper intermediate level, you can get certificate that you finished this course, intermediate level English course. But you cannot get diploma from Justenglish, okay? Because it's a language course. It's not university or school. Next thing that we need to learn is subject. Probably you understand what is the subject. Subject is what you learn in your course. For example, the subject of our lesson is education. Very easy to understand this. Now let's talk about the spheres of education. We have mainly 3 different sectors in education. We have business administration. It includes management courses, marketing courses, administration courses. All these things together are called business administration. So when you finish university, usually your diploma will say Bachelor of Business Administration. And short form for this one is BBA. If you finish master, you will get MBA, Master of Business Administration. The next one is art. So Bachelor of Art, or short form is only BA. Art, it includes all artistic things like painting, dancing, and etc. But at the same time, language is also part of the art. So I have my university degree and it says MA of Art, Master of Arts in English language. Okay? So when you study languages at the university, it is considered as art. The next one is science. So for science, we can say, of course, Bachelor of Science, and short form for this one is, I will write for Master, M, S, and short C. This is Master of Science. In the past, this was 3 main sectors, and then now some new things have been added to it. For example, we have a new level. It is called LLM. LLM is Legal Master. It comes from Latin, legum. It means when you study law. When you become a lawyer, you get this degree. And they use double L because it is like plural in Latin as far as I remember. Let me write some examples for you. I have BBA degree. My brother studies English language and literature, so he will get BA in 3 years. Hi Ismail. Tutku is asking something, or I have connected problem. Tutku, can you explain what is exactly your problem? MSc is very popular field of study in Turkey. There are a lot of science graduates in Turkey. And last one that we have is LLM. My cousin. My cousin holds LLM. These are very popular to use with abbreviation, with short forms. People usually don't write Bachelor of Business Administration. They just say BBA, okay? And everyone understands this. Tutku says that screen is blurry, but I'm checking on Facebook and YouTube and I can see that everything is okay. So maybe it is a problem of your computer or connection. And we have another comment from Ahsen. If I can share this document in chat box, I will talk to Justenglish IT department and maybe they can find solution how we can share these documents with you. And I promise that we will do something with it and I will be able to share all the documents with you. Next thing that we need to learn is medicine. If someone finishes the medicine school and gets master's degree, what do we call the person? We call MED, Master of Medicine. My another cousin is studying at Georgian Medical University and she will get MED next month. Okay, you understand everything so far, I hope. And last one, which is very popular in Turkey, is engineering. In some countries, engineering is part of science and they don't have special name for this, but in some countries it is separate. Especially nowadays, it's becoming popular to have engineering not as a part of science. And for this one, we use like this, Master of Engineering. A lot of my students study engineering and they want to get this one. So far we have been talking about school and university education, but other than school and university we have something which is called training center. Training center is a place where you go to study something very, very specific. And these are usually short-term things. For example, you want to study effective presentation skills, you will go to training center. Or you want to study maybe management skills, you will go to training center. They can give you certificates, but they don't give you diploma. They don't give you profession. They only give you some specific knowledge about something. We can also say Justenglish is a training center, or we can say it is a language center. Training center or language center, okay? If I want to learn marketing skills, I will go to a good training center. So for training centers, they give you some short-term education and course, and it is usually a little bit more active than university or school education. Now in training centers, they can have some specific course for specific people, or they can have open enrollment course. Open enrollment course, it means when everybody can take this course. There is no specific target for this course. Everyone can register for this course, and these kind of things we call open enrollment course. I worked in a training center for the Ministry of Finance in Georgia, and I have designed a lot of open enrollment courses. We have a question on YouTube. Let me read. I have master degree in Turkey in mechanical engineering department. What should I use in my CV? MSc or MEng? Master of Science is more popular in many countries. Master of Engineering, it's not so popular. But you should also look at the name of your diploma in Turkish. What does it say? Does it say Master of Engineering or does it say Master of Science in Engineering? You can pay attention to this thing also, and you will understand better what to use. You're welcome. Now, when you go to these open enrollment courses, there are some courses which you can get. Course is specific education, and it has usually only one subject, or maybe it can have several subjects as well. I will write example like this. While I was living in Georgia, I taught effective presentation course. So while I was living in Georgia, I was working in a different organization and I was teaching effective presentation course to students. One thing that we also need to learn is program. I think you understand the meaning of the program. Program is what you will do during the course. We can also say training program. It is popular. So these are all the activities that will be done during the course and all the knowledge that you will get. For example, I looked at the training program for recruitment skills course, and I was pretty impressed. So I looked at the training program, I saw what I will learn if I go to this course, and I was impressed. I liked it very much. Another thing which has very similar meaning is course syllabus. Maybe you are familiar with this one. Course syllabus, usually we use it for universities. What you will learn in one course at the university, this word is used, course syllabus. Our course syllabus involves 3 tests and 1 final exam. So I see in our course syllabus that we will have 3 tests and we will also have 1 final exam. Next thing that we might learn today is curriculum. It also has very similar meaning to course syllabus, and we can say course curriculum. I checked in the curriculum that we won't have exam at the end of the course, at the end of the semester. Will you share these texts at the end of the lesson? I will speak to our IT department, Firat, and I will try to find a way how we can share this. Maybe we can upload it in the description of the video. So when you see uploaded video on YouTube, this will be probably in the description. So, training program, course syllabus, and curriculum, they have very, very similar meaning, and we can use them in the same way. Probably all of you understand the lesson, so I will not write a lesson for you. But I will teach you American word for lesson. For example, you study at school and you have 6 different lessons every day. In American English, they will not use first lesson. They will say my first period. So in American English, period can be used as a lesson. For example, my first period today starts at 9 a.m. Between periods, you have, of course, break. You understand this. We can have short break. We can also have a long break. We can also use lunch break. I think it is very easy for you, and I will not write these for you. Now let's look what we have learned today. So we have learned today types of schools. Then we learned university education levels. And we've learned some words and phrases related to university and school and courses. Now let's have a break and I will be back with you in 15 minutes. Please stay with us and stay tuned on our YouTube, Facebook or Twitter accounts. See you in a bit.